And I've heard 2020 described as the Spanish influenza of 1917, the Great Depression, and the 60s in 1 year.
Or even like a couple weeks. Did you? And then let me give you another one.
Weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the one in Chicago? Like that was on local Fox News, and like the Chicago police.
Yeah.
The guy in the helmet,
mm-hmm.
and he just runs down the street. I guess it was in the Loop, and just starts batoning the shit out of someone. Or
that old man in DC, dude.
Or
the old man in DC is the worst. Because he's an old man. He fell back. He hit his head, and then he starts bleeding from his ears.
That's in Buffalo.
Buffalo. Oh,
yeah. But which we can talk about that too. But the one in Chicago, like that looked like footage from 1968.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Right.
With the helmet, you're like, oh my God, they haven't even fucking changed how they look.
Right.
That's the part where I'm kind of like, Chicago police still looks like Chicago police from 1968.
Yeah.
Like you would think after 52 years.
Yeah.
And what it's been, right? What that represented, you would think Chicago police be like, you know what? Maybe we should change the aqua blue helmets.
No, but I just said this on social media yesterday. I mean, fascists are all about the uniform, man. They want uniformity, and they're all about the uniform. The Nazis, after 50 years, if they had gone 50 years, they're not going to change that Hugo Boss uniform. It looks good. They think they look good in it. They feel good in it. They're not going to change their uniform.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And the uniform is part of the intimidation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the point, which I was like, here I am watching that video, right? Saying to myself, holy shit, nothing's changed, right?
Yeah.
It's 1968. I mean, I'm not saying this is 1968, but you know what I mean? It's like, and that really got me to think of do they really care? I mean, even the Buffalo one that you just mentioned, I mean, the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, we got to say this because I have family and stuff like that that are police officers. My dad was a cop.
I got cop stories, bro. I grew up in a cop family. I can break it down, but you go first.
No, I just want to say that, what I guess I'm arguing is that, this is a racist system. And so cops as police are defending and protecting and serving that racist system. Now, are there good cops who join the force, not knowing that that's what it is? That's not knowing the history of America, not knowing the history of race relations, of course, right? But those good cops have to stand up, right? And they have to... we need some Serpicos, man. We need some people. I had a teacher on Wednesday who quit her job because she was at a charter school, and they're like, this is bullshit. I came here to teach, and you want me to like just pump out kids like it's a education factory,
Yeah.
And we need people like that. That's all we're calling for. Hey, if you're a good cop, get your boys, man. Check your boys. That's it.
Well, I don't think a lot of people know of my mom's side of the family in New York, but I'll break it down. But I think I've told you this. I'm not sure if
you have a politician in your family, right?
Yeah, my grandfather was a congressman, but he was also the most decorated police officer in the history of New York City. So I grew up on the Bronx side in a cop culture, which people, when they hear that, from, whoa, what do you mean? I grew up, law enforcement. My stepdad was a New York Police Department homicide detective. I hung out, they all came over, like you would do, like cops visited cops, right? When you do like the Sunday barbecues.
My dad was on the softball team, the
you know what I'm saying?
Softball
Like,
team.
It's a culture, right? It's like, and I think, you don't realize, especially in New York, at the time when you're like 9 or 10 or whatever, like what they were actually doing, because you just don't know, but you just.
Well, what you think? You think they're the good guys? That's your family. They're the good guys, obviously.
Yeah, and I think there's a part of me that's like you struggle with it, but I think also there is. It's kind of gotten like it's always been there, right? And even if you look at how the Irish, right, sort of took over New York City police departments or Boston police because it was a good paying job for immigrants. That type of stepping up into the racist system, right? It's almost like an acceptance.
Yeah.
You're accepting to white supremacy, right? And and it's really hard to really break it down, because you get into this point of like, well, you know, they protect us, you know, I understand that, but I do think after a certain, like, there's serving and protecting, and then there's just flat out beating the crap out of people,
right,
and then killing black men,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
Like, you can't. They're not, to me. Like, seeing what we've seen the last couple, like, I just wonder if it wasn't so militarized, because you're creating a confrontation as well, right? If you're protesting, and then if you're looking like you look with, you know, and you're trying to intimidate, and people are like, I'm not having it, then you're sowing the seeds for
and load it up, man. You know, if I came into a bar and I have grenades down my chest and I have a bulletproof vest and I got a stick and I got guns and I got a helmet, and I step into a bar, people are like, this guy came to fight, you know?
Yeah. So you're already like on edge. And so I just struggle with the whole part of you're beating the crap out of like people that are just protesting. Like,
and it's it's tied to what I said, what you just said, that they take people from working class communities, right? And they say, hey, this is a good job, you know?
Yeah.
And, but, you know, that's why there are black and Latino cops doing this, beating their own people. I mean, they did it in Germany, right? They would take, in the ghetto, they would pick a few Jews to police the other Jews, right? Because then those Jews are not as oppressed, right? They get extra privileges, extra bread or whatever, right? And even though they know it's wrong, power corrupts, man. And like, once somebody has that power, it's, you know, there's some people who are saints who can give it up, but most people can't.